morning, dear students. I am Dr. Seema Gupta, Assistant Professor, FC College for Women, Hisar. In today's lecture, we will study about the shoot system. Shoot, it is the stem with its lateral appendages like root, leaves, flowers, fruits. They are also included in the stem and they all constitute the shoot system. But in today's lecture, our main focus will be on the shoot apical meristem and its histological organization. In this lecture, the subtopics they will be shoot apex, definition of meristem, types of meristem, characteristics of meristematic cell, difference between shoot and root apex, growth pattern, anticlinal and periclinal divisions, theories of shoot apical meristem. So, what is shoot apex? In this diagram, you can see here that this particular portion is known as the shoot apical meristem. So, what is apical meristem? The terminal meristem of shoot, which lies immediately above the uppermost leaf primordia. These are the uppermost leaf primordia. So, this portion of the stem which is just above this leaf primordia, it is known as the shoot apex, and this shoot apex, it is made up of the undifferentiated meristematic cells. It is the growing tip of the stem. This shoot apex, it produces lateral appendages like leaves, flowers, fruits. Shoot apex usually appears like a cone shape. It may be convex, it may be concave in shape, and this concave shape, it is present in the hibiscus drymis. The size of the shoot apex, it also ranges. In grasses it is very small, while in palms the size of the shoot apex, it ranges from 500 to 800 micrometer. It is a determining and autonomous organizing center of the plant. Now, what is meristem? This term was first used by Carl Wilhelm von Nageli. It is derived from the word meaning to divide. This is a Greek word meristem, and it means the to divide. In recognition of its inherent function, the meristem is a type of tissue consists of undifferentiated cells capable of cell division, and due to this it causes the growth in the plants. You have seen that in plants the growth is limited, but in plants the growth, it takes place through the entire lifespan of the plant. Now, on the basis of the location, the meristem, it may be apical meristem, lateral meristem, or the intercalary meristem. In the apical meristem, it is present at the apical position. Intercalary meristem, these meristems, they are located in the vascular and the cord cambium, and they are mainly responsible. Lateral meristem, they are present in the vascular and the cord cambium, and they are responsible for the secondary growth. While this intercalary meristem, they are present in between the regions where the leaves they arise. So this is the node, this is internode portion, and the meristem, they are present here at this position, and they causes the increase in the length of the internodal portion. Now, what is the characteristics of the meristematic cells? Meristematic cells, they are generally very small in size, and they have the dense cytoplasm, and prominent nucleus is present. This is the nucleus, this is the cytoplasm. Dense cytoplasm means the vacuoles, they are very small in number, and small in size as well. The cells, they have very thin cell wall. This is the cell wall, it is very thin, and the cells, they don't have the intercellular spaces in between. They are very compactly placed, and the mitotic divisions, they take place in these cells. Now we come to the point that apical, I told you that apical meristem, they are at the apices. So the apices may be of shoot or may be of the root. So if it is in the shoot, it is shoot apex, and if it is in the root, it is the root apex. What is then difference between the shoot apex and the root apex? Shoot apex, you can see here that it is the shoot and it is the terminal position of the shoot. So shoot apical meristem, they are present at the terminal position, while in case of root, the root apex, it is present here. This is not the terminal position because here is the root cap. So due to the presence of the root cap, this shoot apical meristem, it is subterminal in position. And you can see here the shape, it is conical in shape, while in case of root, this is cup shaped structure. And also in the root, there is a quiescent center. Quiescent center is the zone where the inactive cells are present. These cells, they have less DNA, mRNA, etc. So less synthesis it takes place, but when required, when the meristematic cells, they are required, these cells, they may become active. And also the lateral appendages like these leaf primordia leaves, they arise from the, they are produced here from the shoot apex, while there are no such appendages, leaves, flowers, fruits, they are not present in the roots. Origin of branches, they are exogenous. In case of root, it is endogenous, while in case of stem, it is exogenous. Endogenous, they arise from the pericycle. The lateral branches in roots, they arise from the pericycle. That is why it is endogenous in origin. Branch primordia in the axil of the leaves, while it is very far away from the apical region. So these are some of the differences. Now we will study about the growth pattern. Growth pattern in stem, it is rhythmic. Rhythmic means, you can see here, this is the shoot apex and these are the leaf primordia. These are the leaf primordia, and you can see the size of the shoot apical meristem at the top is narrow, while here from where the leaf primordia, they arise, this is broad. This is narrow, this is broad, again narrow, but when the leaf primordia, they will arise, it is broad. So there are rhythmic or at regular intervals, we can see the pattern, it changes from narrow to broad to narrow. And this is because these cells, the apical meristem, they give rise to the meristematic cells. Continuously they add new cells, but it is not uniform. A leaf primordia is formed. How it is formed? The cells, they are meristematic cells, they are again produced, and in the peripheral regions, the periclinal divisions take place, and due to the periclinal divisions, the size, it increases. So the apex, it shows the rhythmic movement, and the leaf primordia, which occurs at regular interval and in regular pattern. Shoot apex, it is protected by the young leaves, young buds here. Before going to the theories of shoot apical meristem, the important thing is that we should understand what is the anticlinal division, what is the periclinal division. This is the anticlinal division. In anticlinal division, you can see that the division, it is at right angle to the plane of the cell. So because of this division, the number of cells per layer, this is a layer of cell, this is another layer of cell, this is another layer of cell, and you can see that because of this plane of division, the number of cells per layer, they will increase. So anticlinal increase, due to the anticlinal divisions, number of cells per layer increases. This increases the thickness and the circumference of the plant. While in case of periclinal divisions, you can see that this is in parallel to the plane of the cell. So due to this parallel division, the number of layers they increase. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Earlier it is 1, 2 and 3. So number of layers they are increased because of these periclinal divisions, but the number of cells per layer they remain constant. And this increase due to the number of layers, the length of the plant it increases. Now the theories of shoot apical meristem, there are mainly four main theories. First one is the apical cell theory, histogen theory, tunica corpus theory and mental core hypothesis. We will study one by one. What is the apical cell theory? This theory is actually proposed by Hofmeister and supported by Nizeli in 1859. According to this apical cell theory, there is a single tetrahedral apical cell in the shoot apex of most vascular cryptogams. So this apical theory is supported by the lower plants, lower algae, bryophytes, okay, and some of the lower pteridophytes. But for the gymnosperms and angiosperms, this theory is not suitable. According to this theory, what this theory says, the apical cell theory, that the apical meristem, which consists of a single cell, and this is known as the apical initial, and this cell is known as the structural and functional unit of the apical meristem. This single cell, this is very large and it is inverted pyramidal in shape. You can see the shape here. This is the apical meristem and this has 3 or 4 cutting faces, among which the single face is directed upward. This is the single face which is directed upward, and there are sides of the apical cell that is directed upward is triangular or square in shape and forms a part of the outer surface of the shoot apex. The cutting faces of apical cell divide in helical successions. The cell divides by asymmetrical division. The upper one is bigger, lower one is small, and the upper one it remains meristematic, while the lower one it gives rise to the permanent tissues. Again it divides into two. The upper one it becomes meristematic, lower one it gives the permanent tissue. As a result of the cutting, they have the daughter cells. The cells then differentiate and forms the segments of the shoot. And the next theory is the histogen theory. This theory was postulated by Hainstein, so it is also known as the Hainstein's histogen theory. According to this theory, in the apical region, there are 3 distinct meristematic zones or layers. This is dermatozone, this is single layer, this is another which is known as the peribulum, and this is the plerome. So there are 3 different layers or the zones, and this single layer it is made up of few cells, and this dermatozone it divides by anticlinal division, and it develops into a anticlinal division. What it does, it increases the number of cells in the layer, so it develops one layered epidermis. So dermatozone it is responsible for the formation of the epidermis, while the peribulum, in this region The cells, they are isodiametric and it forms the cortex and the endodermis. While the plerome, this region, it gives rise to the stellar portion, vascular tissue plus pith, vascular cylinder and pith. According to Henstein, dermatogen, peribulum and plerome, they arise from independent group of initials, the apical meristem, and it is called as the histogen. But there are some objections to the histogen theory. What are the objections? That in some plants there is no distinction of the histogen in the apical part. It is not like that this portion will give the cortex and this will give rise to the stellar portion or the pericycle. In gymnosperms and angiosperms, there exists no clear distinction between peribulum and plerome. There is no such distinction. Some plants, development of various reasons cannot be assigned to the histogens. In some plants, plerome, what will the plerome give? It gives the vascular tissue and the pith. But in some plants, what happens? That plerome produce only the pith, not the vascular tissue or the complete central cylinder, and in some plants part of the cortex also. So plerome here, it produces the cortex as well, while it should not be. According to histogen theory, the plerome should not give the cortex, but in some plants we have observed that plerome, it produces the cortex also, and in some plants it produces only the pith, while it should produce the vascular tissue as well. So this is the objection, this is the drawback of this theory. In some plants, the peribulum produces the cortex, the outer stellar tissue, and in some plants the cortex. So peribulum, it should give rise to the only the cortex, but it gives the stellar tissue as well. So these are the objections to histogen theory. The main weakness of histogen's concept was to assign specific destinies of histogen. Henstein did, he said that dermatogen will give epidermis, peribulum will give the cortex, plerome will give the vascular tissue and the pith, but this is not the right. Later this theory was superseded by the tunica corpus theory because the zones, they are non-committal. These zones, they are non-committal. Because of this theory was discarded and this was replaced by the tunica corpus theory. But it's right that this theory is rejected, but it is still regarded as classic due to the fact that Henstein regarded shoot and root apex as a composite unit consisting of different group of histogens. The histogens, they differed fundamentally from each other. In the apical cell theory, we say that there is only a single cell which is responsible for the complete growth of the plant. But he said that no, there are many initials, apical cell initials there, and there are different regions. From different regions, different type of the tissues, they are formed. This is the basic concept which was given by the histogen, and it is good. Now the tunica corpus theory, this theory is applicable only to shoot apex and not to root. Schmidt distinguished two tissue zones in the shoot apex and termed them as tunica and corpus. So now in histogen there are three layers, but in the theory given by Schmidt, there are two, tunica and corpus. Tunica, this is the outer zone which surround the central core. This is the central core and it is surrounded by the tunica. This is the peripheral layer. The cells of the tunica, they are generally smaller in size. This division reflects to the surface growth. As a result, tunica grows as a sheet. So it grows as a sheet, as a circumference, as a covering layer. The number of tunica layers, 1, 2, 3, the number of tunica layers, they may vary from species to species, and it also varies in one single species from seasonal growth changes. So there are variations in the tunica layers. but this portion it grows as a sheet. Dicotyledons exhibit 1 to 5 layers of cells. 1 to 5 layers. While in monocotyledons there are 1 to 4 layers. In dicotyledons mainly there are 2 layers generally, commonly, but in monocotyledons commonly it is single layer. One single layer tunica, it is known as the monostratos, while multi-layered, if it is tunica is multi-layered, it is known as the multistratos. In multistratos, each layer arises from the separate initials. The initials, they are separate in each layer in the shoot apex. This theory clearly indicates that epidermis does arise from the outer layer of tunica. So, the epidermis, it arises from the outer layer of the tunica. Corpus is the inner zone and forms the central core cells in the central zone are comparatively larger than the peripheral zone and divide in all planes by both periclinal and anticlinal divisions. So here you can see that this is the tunica, this is corpus. Tunica, the anticlinal divisions increases this, while in the corpus there are divisions in all planes, so it increases the central portion. As cell divide in all planes, the shoot apex increases in volume. The girth of the shoot, it increases because of the divisions in all planes. Corpus forms cortex and stele of the shoot. In Hanstin's histogen theory, we have seen that that the peribulum it produces cortex and the pleroma it produces stele. While in this theory, corpus it gives rise to the cortex and stele. So the confusion which was there in the Hanstin theory was resolved here. The corpus is composed of 3 zones. Now this corpus, it has 3 zones. Central mother cell. This is the central mother cell. Pith rib meristem that occurs below the central meristem. Flank meristem, this is the peripheral zone that surrounds both central mother cell and the pith rib meristem. It is shaped like a truncated holozone. This is the peripheral zone. The component cells of the tunica, they differ in size, shape, plane of cell division and topography. So there are difference in the component cells of the tunica and corpus. These cells, they are generally smaller in size, and division is mainly, it is anticlinal here, and there are anticlinal as well as periclinal divisions. What are the merits of the tunica corpus theory? This theory is mainly descriptive and does not make any prediction like Hanstin's theory. It doesn't have any predictions regarding the relationship between apical zone and subsequent formation of tissues. It deals with one thing, that is plane of cell divisions. As a result, the description of meristem becomes precise. It says that this anticlinal division will give this, periclinal division will give this. So it merely describes about the description of the meristem. It has topographical value in the studies of the development of different tissue systems in plant. The destiny of derivatives of corpus is not predetermined. The derivatives of the zones are not rigid like histogen theory. It explains clearly the growth pattern in the shoot apex of the angiosperm. It explains clearly the growth pattern in the shoot apex of angiosperm. It enables to understand the development of leaves as they arise close to the apex. It enables to understand the development of leaves as well. We can understand from this theory the development of leaves. The specific variation in the number of tunica layers is of taxonomic significance. In conclusion, it is to mention that tunica corpus theory provides a flexible description of cell arrangement in the shoot apex, and this is not rigid like histogen theory. It has served well in understanding the structure of shoot apical meristem and the origin and development of leaf. So this tunica corpus theory, it provides a flexible description of the cell arrangement in the shoot apex, and it is not rigid that this layer will produce this. It has served well in understanding the structure of shoot apical meristem and origin and development of the leaf. Also, you can see here the cytohistological zones. The shoot apices of angiosperm exhibits cytohistological zonation in addition to tunica carpus zonation. 4 zones are recognized: tunica initials that consist of an apical group of cells, this shoot apical meristem; tunica apical, corpus initials that occur below apical initial and are similar to the central mother cells. We have studied it before as well in the previous slide, that this has the apical initials and are similar to the central mother cells, peripheral zone and the rib meristem. Tunica initials, this tunica initial, it contributes cells to this tunica initials, the uppermost, it gives cells to the central mother cell zone and to the peripheral. This tunica initial will give cells initials to the central mother cell zone and to the peripheral meristem. The central mother cell zone then give rise to the rib meristem and pith. The meristem is highly meristematic. Primordia originate from this layer. So this is the peripheral zone, central zone, rib zone, again peripheral, and this tunica, it may be many layered. L1, it gives rise to the epidermis. Then again the internal tissues, they are in the tunica. So this dark colored yellow is tunica layer and this is the corpus. This is the mental core theory. Propham and Chen proposed this theory to explain the division in the peripheral tissue in shoot apical region of some angiosperms. This theory is similar to tunica corpus theory. This theory does not rely upon the manner by which the cell divides. It only states that mental is peripheral. It's to mental core. The mental, it is peripheral. This is the mental which is peripheral and this is the center, yani ki core. This theory does not rely upon the manner by which the cell divides. It says that the mental is peripheral cellular region of the shoot apex and it covers the central core region. So, in Opuntia, this is in the usual angiospermic, this is the tunica or mental and this is the core, central part. Now in this slide you can see the difference between the 3 kinds of the shoot apical meristem. Apical cell theory, apical cell, this is the histogen, 3 different colors we have seen. This is dermatogen, peribulum and plerome. This is tunica corpus, this is tunica and this blue portion is the corpus. So just a revision of these 3 theories, and this is about the references. You can see the books and the papers from where I have taken some references. And thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you.